I love my mom. I talk to her every day, and we are extremely close. She brings levity to my neuroses, and she affirms me. She keeps my secrets, and she remembers all of the details. She sometimes names things that I don't want to think about, and she always plays the devil's advocate. The older I get, the more pronounced our similarities become, and the impact of our relationship settles deeper and deeper into my life as an adult. Regardless of how close each of us is with our mom, moms and parents are integral to the formation of our identities. This is evidenced over and over again in this week's parsha, Shemot. We read that the Hebrews are enslaved by a cruel Pharaoh who humiliates and damages them in every way possible, tearing apart their families. In Shemot, Moses is born and he partners with God to redeem his people, but Moses' survival and his ascension to his role as a great leader is only made possible by the women who raise him. Parashat Shemot has 6 female heroes, more than any other parsha, who amidst an environment of physical violence and abuse are able to intuit what is necessary to ensure Moses' survival. 5 of these women are moms, and one of them is his sister, who certainly helps to raise him and eventually becomes one of his most trusted advisors. The parsha begins by stating that the Israelites were fertile. They multiplied and increased, and the land of Egypt was filled with them. The Israelite women's success at creating life was noticed by the new Pharaoh, who demanded that the Hebrew midwives kill all of the male babies as soon as they are born. 2 of these midwives, Shifra and Puah, saved the lives of these babies by lying to the Pharaoh. These midwives told him that the Hebrew slaves successfully birthed their babies alone and quickly before they were able to come and kill them. In the very next passage, we read that a mother, who we later learn is Yocheved, gives birth to baby boy Moses and hides him for 3 months. When she could no longer keep him a secret, she wove a basket and put him at the edge of the Nile. Her daughter, Miriam, watched over him. The next miraculous woman, Pharaoh's daughter, goes to the Nile to bathe. She pulls this baby toward her, knowing immediately that he was a Hebrew. Ignoring her father's decree, the Egyptian princess decides to save this baby's life. Miriam, waiting and watching, offers to find a Hebrew midwife to nurse the baby. Moses is nursed and cared for by his own mother and then returned to the princess, reared collaboratively by these women. The final woman is Zipporah, Moses' wife, the daughter of a Midianite priest. Like the daughter of Pharaoh, she is not an Israelite, but saves Moses' life by circumcising their son. She knew instinctively that the command to circumcise was urgent, even more so than Moses did. She showed immense courage and willingness to act when her husband would not. The reasons why Moses became a great leader, capable of saving his people, is not only because of what these women did, but who they were. Moses was a deep-feeling, reserved, imaginative, and empathetic person who sought connection with others. These are not words that we would use to describe the typical male hero archetype. These are characteristics he learned from his moms, from his sister, and from the mother of his children. These traits are what defined him as the leader that God needed. While the self-aggrandizing Pharaoh takes power and abuses it, Moses, a man who possesses stereotypically female qualities, including intense imposter syndrome, is who God has to convince at the burning bush that he is the right person for this role. Modern scientific studies reinforce these learnings. In a 2014 study, 64 young people were asked to talk about a negative personal experience. In the next phase of the study, they spoke to their moms about this experience for 15 minutes. Thereafter, they were asked to return and share their story a third time, and the study found that every participant shared a more positive version of their original story after speaking to their mom about it. Another study conducted at Stanford shows that a mother's voice activates many different regions in a child's brain, more so than any other voice. Beyond the auditory, the sound of a mother's voice impacts emotion, reward processing, social function, detection of what is personally relevant, and facial recognition. So our mothers are literally a part of our brains, a part of our thinking, in a way that no other person is to us. So mothers, you can be comforted in knowing that your voice is heard by your children, even if you are not speaking to them at that particular moment. While our sacred texts often omit the voices of mothers and of women from our stories, this story is a window into what the rest of our Torah is missing. Each of us has these figures in our own lives, women who would lie to keep us from harm, who see how innately beautiful each of us is, who pull us toward them, who watch over us from a distance, and who see what we cannot see. This Shabbat, not only do I encourage you to call a mother in your life, but to contemplate the defining qualities that make you who you are and where those qualities come from. Shabbat Shalom. Chayil Eishet Chayil.